I'm glad you put it in there, but let's just get on to the real stuff. No, that's all good. Yeah, look, obviously, fair to say there was a fair bit sort of happened after Monday night. So, yeah, if I can go through them. Mickey, obviously, with a hamstring injury, which we kind of knew was fairly significant. So, yeah, he'll probably a couple of months for him, looking into the new year. Matters, yeah, a lot worse than we thought. Obviously, again, he came off with the ankle injury, but next day wasn't great, so we sent him off for a scan. So again, not great for him. So again, probably into the new year for him. Richie had the operation, which, again, we kind of scheduled anyway because Richie's kind of been battling with it from day one, and with the international break coming up, we thought it was a good time to sort of get it done. He should only be, if everything goes well, a month, so not too long after the international break. They're the main ones. Obviously, we've got a couple of suspensions as well. And I think, and Ben Davis is back and available. And I think everyone else is okay. Pedro's fine. No, he trained, no problem.
That's obviously really bad news for Mickey and James. January is looming then, and I know we've spoken before about it's a smallish squad, and potentially with Davidson to moving on to Galatasaray might have been a bit short. Will there be discussions then to try and do some activity early in the January window because of these injuries?
Look, nothing really. My focus right now is we've still got a fair few games between now and January, and that's where my attention's got to be. The planning in terms of January has been in the works for a while. As I said last week, Johan's in the building now. That's his kind of area. He's getting his department together. He'll get all the information, and we just got to keep working to the plan we started with. I've said right at the start, we've only had one window trying to build a team. It was never going to happen in that one window. So we've got a plan, whether that's January, whether that's the summer or beyond, and we'll work through that. But right now, what's important to me is we've got still a significant amount of games between now and January, and we want to make sure we're performing at a good level.
It's quite a memorable game Monday. I all the 30-odd years I've been to White Hart Lane, Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, I've ever seen a full house when you've just lost at home to one of your big rivals. That says a lot. Is that a message to the players that are going to have greater responsibility now coming in? Everyone's got to pull together, and it's kind of an example of what you've actually been saying for the last few weeks. There's going to be some downs here as well as the ups. Yeah,
look, it was like I said, it was an unusual night, Monday night, but I think from our perspective, as I said after the game, it was hard to analyse, but we still had to analyse the game, and sort of our analysis was when it was first 20 minutes, I thought we were outstanding, probably the best we've played all year. Obviously there was a couple of moments in there. Then we lost our discipline, which kind of turned the game on its head in terms of just, there was so much happening and so much not happening in terms of just playing football. It disrupted us. And then we went down to 10 men. And again, I thought we coped not too bad. Obviously, down to 9 men. And I think the message in the end was that, I think, as you said, the supporters appreciated the efforts of the players, which is important. I think that the players felt that because ultimately, I think that's what every supporter wants, that they see their players out there, the people representing their football club giving their all, but disappointed with the outcome because it was a game that, like I said, we started really well and was well within our grasp to come out on top. So there's lessons in that as well. So, but it's just another opportunity for us to grow, as a group, as a football club, as a team.
Charlie.
Hi, Ange. Just one on Mickey. I mean, how has he been emotionally and mentally since Monday? Because he's had such a great start to life at Tottenham, and knowing that he's sustained that injury and will be out for the next couple of months, how has he taken it?
Yeah, I guess like all of them, any footballer, that's probably their biggest fear is that, and it's always the possibility of injury sort of disrupting, their careers, and he was obviously disappointed, but now it's about rehab and making sure that use this time to get strong and come back better than ever, and he's got good support in the building in terms of the medical team, sports science staff, and knowing Mickey and already the time I spent with him, he'll leave no stone unturned to make sure he comes back bigger and better.
How much of a loss will he be for yourself in the way that you want to play, given the attributes that he does have?
Yeah, look, it's look, they're all the absences are kind of have an effect on the team. I guess the unusual one for us, and again, I not many times in my career, if any, where we have such a disruption for one game. You know, we've lost sort of almost 4 or 5 starters in one game. That's where, I mean, 3 of our back 4. You know, so that's where, you know, we kind of get affected more than anything else. I think if it was, you know, if it was just Mickey, and obviously, you know, you'd miss him because of the qualities he has, as you said, it wouldn't disrupt us as much. But you know, we've got to bring in 3 different players in the back 4, and that's the big challenge for us.
You mentioned all the absentees for tomorrow's game. I mean, there was a lot of talk after the game on Monday about the way that you want to play, even when you're down to 9 men. Given Wolves' front line, Hwang in form, Cunha as well, is there a temptation on your part to change the way that you play just for this one game?
Yeah, there's always the temptation, but apart from apart from chocolate, I'm pretty good at not giving in to temptations.
What's the message been then to the players? Like, is it, have you said, you know, there's an opportunity for people to come in and prove themselves? Like,
Yeah, look, I'm not one that kind of just reacts off sort of the short-term stuff. Ultimately, we've tried to keep it as a normal week. You know, like I said, it is an extreme situation when you have so much sort of fallout from one game. But ultimately, it's about sort of preparing a team for this week. You can't sort of look too far beyond that because, as I've already seen, every game in the Premier League is a challenge. You know, and Wolves is going to be a hell of a challenge for us. So, you know, I think I don't want to sort of, you know, veer away from kind of what our focus has been all along. Is that is, you know, every week we try and prepare and be ready for the next challenge. And you know, even though it's unusual circumstance, that's what we've tried to do this week.
do you sense then that the players do want to rally around and kind of lift themselves after this? Because it is a big disappointment losing key players, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Of course it is. But, you know, I don't think it would take that for them to rally around. They do it every day. I mean, that's, you know, ultimately that's what you want. You want them every day sort of wanting to give their all, give their best. They don't need extra motivation. So, we're aware that obviously we're going to have to make some changes for tomorrow. But, you know, the guys who will come in have been training hard to understand how we want to play, and will come in and give everything they can to try and make us successful. I mean, the tricky part for us, and I know people have kind of said it's an advantage that we haven't been in Europe or in the Cups, but if we had been, some of these guys would have had game time. That's the tricky bit. You know, a lot of them are going to come in and haven't had a lot of game time, and that's where, you know, from our perspective, because again, we can't afford any more injuries. Just got to be really careful about sort of, you know, the kind of game time we give people.
And just looking back at Chelsea, have you been able to watch it, rewatching it? Does it make any more sense, or is it one of those games you look at and like, this is just carnage?
Yeah, no, it does. Like I said, I mean, you kind of, when you take the emotion out of it, and I looked at it, like I said, the first 20 minutes I thought were outstanding. I thought some of our football, and you know, we really started on their tempo, and then, like I said, there was a 6 or 7 minute spell where we just lost our sort of composure, and you know, we kind of paid a price for that. And the rest of the game, it was difficult because, you know, as I said, after the game, it seemed to be a lot of sort of outside intervention, which didn't really make it sort of a game where you sit back and analyse and you go, okay, we could have done this, could have done that different. It was just a lot of, like I said, a lot of unnecessary disruption in a game that, you know, in the end, you just really, all you're doing is having two teams fight for a result rather than anything more than that.